Most people don't know much about it, and most people don't even know where it is. The liver is controlling everything from white blood cell reaction to all the vitamins and protections that we have. For the longevity, the most important organ in your body is the liver. One dose of paracetamol causes as much damage to your liver as 6 pints of beer. 38% of the Western world have fatty liver disease, and it's climbing. 90 to 95% don't know it. And the reason is because brain fog is one of the first symptoms of fatty liver disease. Liver disease is the third biggest killer in the world, predicted to be number one by 2035. 50% of the children in the United States today have a chronic illness. Babies are being born with fatty liver. Way worse fatty liver disease in people that drink diet soda than drink regular Coke. We're taking people from stage 3 fatty liver disease to normal liver
in 3 months.
3 months.
That's incredible. Hello and welcome to Wellness is Life podcast. I'm your host Natalia Naila, and today I am joined by Siggi Clavien, a visionary in the world of liver health and the founder of the Liver Clinic, as well as the creator of the liver support formula, de-liver-ance. With a background in wellness innovation and a deep commitment to result-driven healing, Siggi's helped thousands of people reverse liver issues and reclaim their health, often when conventional medicine had run out of options. His approach goes far beyond supplements. He's passionate about the science of detox, the connection between liver function and everything from brain fog to hormones, and how small lifestyle shifts can lead to major health wins. Today we are covering it all from liver myths and silent symptoms to diet, stress, sleep, and the truth about alcohol. If you ever felt bloated, foggy, or just off and haven't thought to check your liver, this episode will open your eyes in the best way. Siggi, so nice to see you here in my studio in Hollywood. Thank you for coming. I know you came all the way from Arizona, but you have homes around the country. And Cassandra, your wife, she's from Sweden. You're from, I believe...
I'm half Swiss, half British.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you guys have home in England as well, and you're between Arizona, England, also California. I know you have a home here. So, and today we're going to be talking all about liver. And liver has been always part of my detoxing routine for as long as I remember myself, from teens. Well, not teens, but like maybe when I became 20 years old, I was like, oh, wow. I started going to different Ayurvedic medicine doctors or Chinese. So they would put me every 6 months on 1 month kind of a cleanse, liver, kidney, blood, colon. So for years, I've been on that kind of a cleanse. And then with certain companies, I've done like... you call them flash, the liver flash.
Yeah.
You do the 5 liver flash. So I've done those. So I know a lot about how to cleanse your liver from herbals, flashes, all that stuff. But till I met you about 2 years ago at mini biohacker conferences that we run everywhere. And you guys have really cool fiber scan that you scan your liver, which... a lot of people don't even know how to scan. We just do blood tests. A lot of blood tests, we don't even know what they show. The doctor's like, yours fine, but what are markers are showing? So I'd like to talk about that, what markers people should look when they do blood tests. Also, your fiber scan is so amazing. I've done like 2 fiber scans, and they were fabulous. So it's good to know that my liver is in a good condition. I also have done, over the past 2 years, a lot of your de-liver-ance product. I've talked a lot about this product as well. And so let's start. Why liver health, and why should people care about liver?
Okay. Thank you very much. A lovely introduction, by the way. And it's been so good interacting with you. And we've learned a lot from you, and you've learned from us. So it's a great foundation for a really good, healthy relationship. We love your support, and we love supporting your liver.
I know.
So the liver it's a master organ. And in Eastern medicine, whether it be Ayurvedic or traditional Chinese or traditional Korean, it is known as the master or the general of the body. And even though I've been in phytomedicine development for 29 years, I used to primarily look at the liver as this fantastic detox engine. And that's what I thought it mostly did, and that's what most people think it really does. But the more and more we got in depth to studying the liver over the last 20 years, realized that it is this incredible master organ that is in charge of everything from your skin and your hair. If you want to have beautiful skin and hair, you have to take care of your liver. It's the master of your immune system. Whilst the lymphatic system moves everything around, the liver is controlling everything from white blood cell reaction to all the vitamins and protections that we have, as well as it stores, masterminds, and controls hormones. So for women's health, it's incredibly important. Also for longevity. For the longevity, the most important organ in your body is the liver. And it does all of these things, but most people don't know much about it, what it does, and most people don't even know where it is. So,
That's so true, where the liver is.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is it?
So the liver actually starts a little past your chest bone up here. The bottom of your liver follows your rib cage, so it's the same shape, and it's done that through evolution, so the rib cage protects it. And the top is about where your nipple is, and the bottom is where your rib cage is. So most people think it's down here. It's actually up here. And it's
on the right side.
On the right side, but it does cross over past the center point.
Oh, interesting.
So it rests between the lungs and the heart.
And I hear it's the biggest organ.
It's the largest internal organ, yeah. Our biggest organs are skin, but the biggest internal organ is the liver.
And it takes about 7 weeks, correct me wrong, to rejuvenate. So every 7 weeks, the liver rejuvenates?
Well, it's constantly regenerating. Its regeneration properties are incredible. It's the only organ that fully regenerates in the human body. You can have up to 90% of it damaged and it'll bounce back. If you do a thing which, if you have to have a genetic match, usually a family member. If you do a live liver transplant, what we'll do is we'll take a third of the donor, maybe it's a sister, a cousin, or a parent or child's liver off, put that into you, take the old liver out, and that little third will grow back to a fully double-lobed organ, and your liver, as soon as 7 weeks, will grow back.
That's incredible.
No organ in the human body can do that.
So what inspired you to focus your efforts on liver health?
So being Swiss-British, I was going to be a viticulturist. So I was studying in university in California to be a winemaker. And it's interesting because
wine and liver now doesn't go.
Yeah. Well, as a viticulturist, you grow vines, and vines can live to be 70, 80 years old, and it's a living organism. They get sick, they get disease, you make them better, you give them nutrients, you prune them, you take care of them, you love them. So I kind of got that mentality and that paradigm of taking care of a living organism. But my best friend, unfortunately, passed away from a drug interaction, and that was sometimes when two chemicals or two drugs mix in the liver, and it can be fatal. So I switched gears and I went into developing phytomedicines 29 years ago. And originally, I was using Western modalities, so I was using vitamins and minerals and enzymes to try to prevent overdoses, which evolved into helping with addiction. And doing that, and I didn't understand or appreciate how great the liver was because I was using a Western medicine mentality. And then in about 2003, along the way, my godfather died of cirrhosis, and my mentor died of liver cancer. So I really said I was going to dedicate myself to trying to prevent that from happening, and really focused on the liver. And in doing that, I really found this whole fountain of 5,000 years of knowledge in Eastern medicine. And I really kind of dedicated myself to doing that and to formulating and working with herbologists and Chinese medicine doctors and Korean medicine doctors and Ayurvedic and cutting-edge scientists in the U.S. and at University of Washington and Imperial College in London, and combining as much, just taking in as much knowledge as I could to start creating phytomedicines and to studying the liver, which has now evolved into clinics where we're doing diagnostics. So it's been an incredible journey.
And of course, I want to talk more about what is in your formula that is very special, like nothing else out there. But let's go back to, you said your people overdose from taking 2 different medications together. And I know that could be Tylenol, a huge overdose. Can we talk about that? Why Tylenol, which is the biggest use in our country, that people don't know they can actually die from it. It's a number 1 overdose and poison when people go to hospitals, especially on holidays. Can you talk about that?
So it's interesting you bring that up because I'm even realizing how much more greater problem that is. We were at a medical conference last year, and I was speaking to somebody who's head of poison control for the Western United States. And she was saying actually the most amount of poison control calls they get or overdoses are actually teenagers or adolescents trying to self-harm with Tylenol. And Tylenol, or acetaminophen, the ingredient, in England we call it paracetamol.
Okay.
That ingredient, whilst it does have properties analgesic for getting rid of a headache, it dissolves liver tissue. So if you have excessive amounts of it, it can cause permanent, sometimes fatal liver damage. There's a great study that was done in the UK by the British Liver Trust, which was that one dose of paracetamol, Tylenol, causes as much damage to your liver as 6 pints of beer.
Oh, wow. That's
So everybody's
incredible.
thinking, oh, I'm just going to take some Tylenol, and they take it over and over, and they become kind of dependent on it, but they're doing a lot of liver damage. And if you think about it, you could have 3 pints of beer, which you would immediately think would cause way more damage and actually cause less. But you then can also run afoul of a compounding issue where, let's say, acetaminophen or Tylenol causes damage of 4, and alcohol causes damage of 4. If you combine them, you don't have damage of 8, you have damage of maybe 16. So they'll actually exasperate and multiply the amount of damage that's done. So you have a lot of damage being caused by that, and the public isn't aware of the damage that causes. Well, whilst ibuprofen causes stress on the kidneys, it doesn't actually dissolve liver tissue. So we've actually had liver transplants, Cedars-Sinai, at most universities, hospitals globally, to where the Tylenol overdose could be so high that they've got to have to go into a transplant because you've killed and caused so much scarring in the liver that we'll have to go to transplant.
I had no idea. And you're saying ibuprofen is a kidney and Tylenol is liver.
Yes, but whilst ibuprofen does a lot of stress on the kidneys, it could cause some damage. Acetaminophen actually dissolves liver tissue.
And so once it's happened, the damage happened, how can you reverse it?
Well, the liver's ability to regenerate is very, very good. So I always say, first and foremost, to liver care is to love your liver, take care of yourself, be cognizant of what we're subjecting it to or putting it in. The liver regenerates so much that the average age of your liver, I had a lady the other day, very, very big pharma lady, actually, very interesting. She was like, oh, my liver's probably really damaged because being in big corporate America, I drank a lot of alcohol and, I've done a lot of things that could damage it. I said, well, let's not stress about that because every 3 years you pretty much get a new liver. So the average age of your liver is 3 years old. The oldest cells will be 10 years old, and the newest cells will be within minutes. So on average, it's only 7 years. So the liver is very forgiving, but you can cause serious scarring damage to where the scars won't repair, but the tissue around it will. And what can happen is if you have too much scarring, that could be from fatty liver disease can cause it. It could be from pharmaceuticals. It could be from environmental toxins. But those scars get too heavy. What happens is they connect. And if they start to connect, they look like tree roots, is they'll surround pockets of healthy tissue. That healthy tissue will then be blocked from energy, from blood flow, from oxygen, and then that dies. And that's what cirrhosis is. If you look at cirrhotic liver, it looks like it's got leopard spots, and those spots are dead tissue. So we want to try to avoid that because you can repair scarring with certain phytomedicines like de-liver-ances, very healthy diet, mitigating the toxins, healthy lifestyle.
And a lot of people actually feel brain fog.
Yep.
Also, overweight, it's actually caused if you have a liver damage and let's talk about what is fatty liver disease. And now they even call it alcoholic fatty liver disease. And you don't have to be an alcoholic or even drink alcohol to have that. So can you explain where is it all coming from? Is it from the diet, processed foods, seed oils, and what else?
So liver disease, now 70% of liver disease globally is non-alcoholic. So it's not derived from alcohol. Whilst alcohol is very damaging, 50 years ago, it was less than 10% of liver disease was non-alcohol related. Today, it's 70%, and it's climbing. Liver disease is the third biggest killer in the world of preventable disease. It's predicted to be number 1 by 2035. And if you look at all the diseases, they're kind of going like this with population, and we're starting to push a lot of diseases down, thank God. But liver disease is accelerating. It's up 400%.
Because people don't even think like, oh, liver. People think of heart or something else, but no one really thinks about liver. It's kind of like unnoticed. It's kind of like forgettable. It's.
They don't think about it. They don't really know what it does, and they don't appreciate it. And one of the reasons is we're about 25 years behind in research. And the other is you don't have a lot of noticeable symptoms until you're really sick. So brain fog is one of the first symptoms of fatty liver disease. But brain fog, so many people misconstrue as, oh, well, I'm stressed, or I haven't had enough sleep, or I'm this or that. So they're not really correlating it. And truly it could be, that could be confused with many other things. And you take a coffee or a Red Bull, or you do a lot of things to try to hamper the symptom, not paying attention. The second symptom of fatty liver disease is weight gain. You start to gain weight quicker, and it's harder to get rid of weight because as the liver gets fattier, its ability to break fats down goes down. So its self-repair mechanism is diminished because it's getting fattier. And then thirdly, you have the bad sleep. That's another main symptom of it as well. But we're at a point now where it's 38% of the Western world, United States and Western countries and some Eastern countries have fatty liver disease, and it's climbing. Give you an example. Most people think, I don't drink, my liver should be fine. The highest cases of fatty liver disease in the world are Iran, where there's no alcohol. I mean, it's forbidden. And India, which is incredibly low.
Why is that?
So it's a genetic predisposition. So they're genetically more prone to it, but also is the calories, cheap calories, processed foods, preservatives, things that the liver doesn't understand, know how to do. It will store fats and sugars because it understands them. It doesn't understand aspartame or a preservative in a food or some of the chemicals that are used. So it's looking at that as a bigger threat. And as the liver being a very intelligent organ, it has to, billions and billions of cells and tens of thousands of foreign substances are coming into the body every day. It has to determine what is the bigger threat to try to protect us. Detoxifying is just, it's a three-part process. First it's identifying it. Okay, what is this toxin? Then it activates and starts creating. The liver has 500 vital functions, but has tens of thousands of enzymatic responses to different threats. And some of those we've developed over time, but some of it we haven't epigenetically or genetically adapted to these toxins in the last 100 years. And that's phase one. Then phase two is got basically conjugation, gathering them up, making them water soluble so we can get rid of the toxins, trying to organize them to then get rid of them. Then phase three detoxification is elimination.
Right. So and let's talk about de-liver-ance. By the way, let's take a shot.
Yeah, please.
It's usually I do
Cheers.
it one in the morning, one at night.
Yep.
It's at midday right now. We're going to take a shot. It's pretty delicious. I love this product. And we'll talk about what ingredients and why these ingredients are very special.
Yep.
But first.
Cheers.
It's a little bit different new taste. Did you add something new from just 5 months ago?
Well, all the honey we use is organic, and it's raw, mesquite organic honey that comes from nature. So we don't actually use any like orange blossom honey or honey from farms. So depending on different areas and different times of year, the honey might have a slightly different connotation, but it's very similar.
Because I've tasted, because I've taken it so much. Now
Yeah.
I know the little bit different taste. Wow, it's interesting. It's really cool. So let's go over what ingredients and why these are important. Because we know milk thistle. Everybody knows. Well, if you want to help your liver, take milk thistle, which is number one, and that's about it. Or do the cleanse. And now people are like, do the cleanse on a special moon. They have these different things. So talk about this.
So there is something to be said to lunar cycles and how it affects. It affects everything from babies being born to lunatic is because based off lunar and the moon. Coming from viticulturists and old farmers, as you prune and cut these are moon cycles, like your hair.
Yep.
If you want a really long hair, you cut it on a new moon.
I know.
If you want a thick hair, you do it on a full moon.
Yeah, I always go back to my hairstylist on the new moon.
I did, it's the same thing my grandmother did and my great-grandmother did, and it's very true. So there is something for that. And detoxification is something the body naturally does. And I used to, and I still make products that try to put you in detoxification, but that's like an active approach to the liver and trying to tell the body to do something. After years and years and 20 years of doing that, I switched to more of a yang or a passive approach to medicine, which is also preventative, which is listening to the body. And I fortify the liver and give the liver everything it needs to optimize. And then the liver will go into detoxification when it feels it's appropriate. And in doing that, there's a great differential paradigm between Western medicine, which is you're doing your thing, you get sick, you go see the doctor, you pay the doctor because you're sick, he puts you on a medicine, and then he starts hitting you with medicines to see what makes you better, and they stack them, and that's reactive medicine.
Okay.
Eastern medicine is very preventative, whereas you go to the doctor every month when you're healthy, and he'll check you out. He'll give you the herbs or the tinctures or the diet or nutrition to what you need to keep you healthy. And his incentive is to keep you healthy because you pay him when you're well. But if you're sick, you don't pay them anymore until you're better. So the whole mentality is to prevent you from getting ill. If you're a doctor and your patient gets sick, maybe I've done something wrong to why they're sick, so I have to fix it. And I started to use that approach. So it's completely different than everything I'd always learned or trained and studied to do, is I looked at Eastern medicine, and we came across a traditional Korean medicine that was for hepatitis. Mm-hmm. And it was based off of eight herbs and roots and tree barks and flowers. And the good thing about Eastern medicine is there's thousands of years of kapia and all this knowledge. Yep. It's incredible. We used to have it in the West. A lot of it was lost when the Library of Alexandria burned down, because that's where all the ancient wisdom was, and a lot of Hippocrates and all that was there, and it was lost. So we lost a lot of that. And in that, I took that basic formula, and then I formulate it in a different way to where a lot of people will formulate a supplement. They'll say, okay, well, this ingredient's really good, and this is really good, and I'll put it together, and here's my product. Mm-hmm. I formulate in a different way to where we take this formula, and then we'll start testing it on people, and we'll see reactions, and then I'll add something to it and see what happens, and then I might take something away or add a little bit. And we did that with science and with clinical research. I spent millions and millions of dollars on clinical studies to perfect it, and that's why it took 18 years to create.
I was just about to ask you, when did you know it was a perfect,
I like to think, I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist, but I believe that, science is perpetual. So I'll never stop inventing and trying to improve it. But it was about 2016 when we're like, okay, this is ready to go. I think this is ready to start testing. And we started even more clinical testing. And since then, we've only done a couple minor tweaks. It wasn't readily available. We've had people taking it for 6 years. We didn't start marketing it really until 2023. And that was in the US and the UK. But we've got some very well-known. I've got a very famous French movie producer that's been out for 6 years.
Right. And also, I know you guys now, a lot of clients of yours, they take de-liver-ance, and you suggest for about 3 months to clean your fatty liver disease. And then first of all, you scan them. They take the product for 3 months, right? And then you rescan them, and you can see that the liver improved and how much the liver can improve from A to B.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We, besides, as we're doing all these studies and stuff, we realized that, and because I've been very strict on keeping the product high quality ingredients, it's very natural. In fact, everything's natural in it. So the closer you stay to the nature, the higher your efficacy rate is, and the better the body reacts to it. So in the development of it, and we were doing these studies, I said, we've given people blood tests, and we've done scans, we've done MRIs, and we've done ultrasounds. We should actually make this part of the model. There isn't really any other companies that are saying, you know what, why don't let's baseline you. Let's look at the biomarkers. Let's see where your liver's at, how your cholesterol is, how your hormones are. And for men, where your PSA is. Take the product, and then we'll test you again. And we were doing that at 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. And we realized that most of the heavy lifting was happening in the first 3. And I said, well, I don't want to keep somebody on more than they need, longer than they need. So let's kind of move it to 3 months. So we'll scan somebody and get a blood test, or they'll go get their thing done. And then we test them again as soon as 3 months. And we see huge, huge movements in 3 months. I was watching a podcast the other day where the pharma company was saying how they had taken somebody from it's called a CAP score, it's how you measure liver fat, like 350 to 290, and like how amazing it is, right? They've still got stage 3 fatty liver disease. But then I looked at the dates. I'm like, that was 18 months. We're taking people from stage 3 fatty liver disease to normal liver in 3 months.
That's incredible. And just taking your product one in the morning and one at night.
Correct. Yeah. If you've got
and the diet, do you have to change the diet?
You don't have to. It speeds it up. I mean, stage 1, stage 2 fatty liver or slightly out of range cholesterol, 1 bottle a day and following the diet should do it. If somebody's got severe stage 3 fatty liver disease or we're treating somebody undergoing chemo, or type 2 diabetic, because these are all reversible.
Right.
These are the silver lining in all of this, whether it's fatty liver disease, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, is it's reversible. And to be candid, I'd say 2/3 of our patients will listen to the nutritionists and dietitians. 1/3 are naughty and they just want to keep doing what they're doing. So they'll take a little longer, but at the end of the day, we see to have a very net positive effect. So if you want to get into a better shape quicker, listen to the nutritionist and listen to your dietitian, drink some water, avoid. And, we're not telling people what to do. We're just saying these are great suggestions.
Right.
And
let's talk about biomarkers.
Yeah.
So if people can get to your FibroScan, when they go to their doctor, what they should be asking their doctor for what kind of markers to see if they have a liver damage, if they have fatty liver disease, and also going to the cholesterol. Is the cholesterol actually part of if you have a liver damage, then your cholesterol goes high?
The liver is also in charge of cholesterol. So 70% of cholesterol is genetic, 30% environmental. And cholesterol, I would argue, is one of the most important molecules in the body. And, whilst there's several cholesterol markers you look at, it's LDL, which is the bad one, which is not really bad. Triglycerides, that's the one that can leave more fat deposits. And then you have HDL, which is the good cholesterol. So HDL acts like a transport mechanism, and it carries the LDL between the cells and the liver to break it down. And triglycerides are these free flats flowing around. So cholesterol could be high because of genetics. There's also a lot of science that's pointing to you may have high cholesterol because you've got inflammation. Think of cholesterol. Gary Brecka said it great the other day. They're like little firefighters. And you may have a lot of LDL because they're trying to put out some inflammation somewhere. So the old school method of medicine is, let's just throw them on a statin. And statins have proved to not only be toxic, cause damage, but largely ineffective. So we need to look at the body like we look at the body as a whole. What's happening overall? Sorry to come back to I went on a little tangent, but to come back to your point for a liver test. So 40% of the U.S. has fatty liver disease. 90 to 95% don't know it. And the reason is because that doesn't show up on a blood test. When you get a blood test done, and we get a yearly one, you look at kidneys, they look at cholesterol, they look at uric acids, and they look at a liver panel. That's a lagging indicator. So if your liver enzymes are off, that's showing something that's already happened. And if those are off, you've got a more serious condition. But it's not going to necessarily show fatty liver disease. It might just show that your liver's reacting to something, and that could be an infection. It could be fatty liver. It could be scarring. It could be you might have caught up something over the weekend as well. So I don't find it to be as accurate. I think it's good for other things and it's important, but it's like a beautiful painting. If you can only see part of it, you're not seeing the whole picture.
Yeah.
So you need to do the scanning, and you also need to talk to the patient. You need to find out how are you feeling, how's your brain fog, how are you sleeping, how's your skin. So you want to get a whole picture to it, and scanning is very important.
How many scans and where they can find your scans? I know you guys now building all these different clinics around the country and also in Europe as well.
Yeah. So we have 7 clinics in the UK. We also do mobile clinics where we'll go into offices and we might do the executives. There's a Formula One team that we go once a year and we scan the engineering department. So we have clinics there and we're expanding. We go to the shows. And in the US, we're rapidly expanding clinics. What we're doing to get more people scanned and to create knowledge and awareness is we're going to existing clinics. Like we were doing a very high-end, amazing longevity clinic in Beverly Hills today. And he's got all these patients. But right now, he knows and suspects a lot of his patients have fatty liver disease.
Interesting.
But he would have to write them a script. They'd have to go to maybe a different type of lab, get a blood test. Then insurance would say, okay, then they would send you to another place to get a scan. We went into his office and we scheduled and we did 25 of his patients. So we're partnering with existing clinics to do that. We go into gyms, spas, and we're trying to get as many scans out there. Longevity is a big area that's growing. Wellness clinics, medi-spas.
Yeah. So if people want to look into where they can find the liver clinic,
the liverclinic.com.
FibroScan.
Yeah, the liverclinic.com. So we can organize bloods. The FibroScan, that's shear wave elastography. We used to use ultrasound, and that is kind of the cheaper old school way. And ultrasound will tell you it's fatty or not fatty. It's just yes or no.
It was like enlarged.
Yeah, or it's enlarged or there's maybe a tumor. Shear wave or elastography, FibroScan's the one that we really like, is brilliant because it's 10 minutes, it's immediate, it's the gold standard, and it will tell you exactly what percentage of liver fat, do you have any scarring, any fibrosis, and how much. And you get the results right then and there. If we see something that we're suspicious that may be more out of range or more serious, then we'll go MRI. And then if MRI is, conclusive of something, we might do a biopsy. We try to avoid a biopsy because, there's a lot of risks with a biopsy. It's painful. It's chance of infection. And I'm not a fan of biopsying tumors because I think you could spread more cancer.
That's what they say.
As a personal belief, you try to avoid that at all costs.
Right.
But shear wave is really nice because it's quick and easy. I mean, you've had it done twice.
It is. I've had it done. It's super easy, and it's nice to see right away. Yeah. Let's talk about us being in the longevity space and biohacking. We do take a lot of supplements. At least I do.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised to hear from some of the biohackers on my podcast when I ask them what's their vitamin protocol. They're like, well, none. I'm like, what? So, but not for me. I love my vitamins. I make sure I have quality vitamins. I always look for great, and being in this business, meeting all these incredible people. So we're lucky to have good ones. And there's people saying, well, if you take a lot of supplements, you'll impact your liver. You'll damage your liver taking so much because liver can't process so much at once. Then also, going to the alcohol, how damaging is alcohol? Can I have one glass of wine a week, my French, wine? How will impact my liver in that sense? Also, going back to, you had incredible podcast with Dave Asprey, and you guys tested his liver. Yeah. And you said his liver was the best liver that you've ever seen of 1,000 scans, and his liver was like a baby liver. Yet Dave has perfect diet. He's between carnivore and paleo, I guess. Yep. And he takes thousands of supplements, and that didn't affect his liver. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So it's like anything, the quality of what you do is important. The quality of the water we drink or the food we eat or the supplements we take. So taking supplements, if they're good quality, is imperative. And how bioavailable are they? And we also need to back up a step too, because it's like before you go into hormone replacement therapy for a woman, you've got to get your liver in check first. If you're going to be taking a lot of supplements, you need to see what you're absorbing. So a gut test is really important because if your gut biome is out of whack, it doesn't matter if you take 100 supplements or you take 5.
If you're not absorbing it,
you've got to start with the gut biome because that's like the first line. Because when we take a supplement, right, it goes into the stomach, it's broken down. The intestine's job is to filter that and to pull out all the good things, to hopefully keep the bad in there. Then those go to the liver, and then the liver organizes all these vitamins and vitamin Ks and proteins and nutrients, and it stores them, and then it releases them to the body. Mm-hmm. So the liver is the mastermind of that, but the extraction is the intestines. And if you've got leaky gut, you're also not absorbing, but you're also getting toxins into the blood, which can affect the liver. Mm-hmm. So I think first and foremost is make sure your gut biome is in good health.
Yep.
And there's things we can do to do that, diet and yogurts and get a gut test as well. Mm-hmm.
Which I do these to a lot of my patients. Yeah. And I cannot tell you now how much I see leaky gut even in the younger generation, all kinds of generations. So I always start with first testing the gut, making sure the gut is in good condition, and then layering everything on top.
Yeah.
So that's the key.
And that's one thing the Eastern Europeans are very good at is they always take probiotics when they take antibiotics. And so especially in the West and the US, a lot of our gut biome is destroyed or very messed up and mutated because of overuse of antibiotics without putting probiotics and prebiotics in there to try to create that balance. It's like that's why we named the company Equilibrium, our parent company, because you have to have balance. So you have to have balance in your gut biome. Once that's done, look at the supplements you're taking, the quality. How bioavailable are they? Liposomal things are good because it goes into the blood. So look at the quality, and a kind of a good metaphor is if you take too many supplements at once, it'd be like 100 people running out of the room at the same time. They're all going to get stuck in the door. And so you've got to be careful how you time them. Rotate them.
Know when it's in the morning, when it's a midday. Like mine is like throughout the day. Like I'm like, it's almost like food. I go to my station, I'm like popping them throughout the day.
And make sure you drink lots of water.
Yep. With certain fats as well.
Lots of fluids as well. And, basic, you need your basic amino acids, right? That's really important. Most people are vitamin D deficient. Even though we get some from the sun, there's others we don't. So that's very, very pernicious within the society. Not a lot of people have vitamin D. And you don't want too much of certain things, good protein. So you have to have a good balance of all those supplements.
Right.
We're in a revolution right now of information and knowledge in the biohacking community and our community and health optimization that's teaching us so much more of what to take and what not to take.
But there's a lot of noise there too.
There's a lot of noise.
We're getting lost. Even myself sometimes. I see a post, a reel from very knowledgeable, like, say, speakers. And I'm like questioning them, this is not what I hear, what I've learned. So I send this post to someone in our community. I'm like, is this true? They're like, no, it's not. Like, it's still kind of like out there, wild, wild west.
Yeah.
You don't know. People are saying this, people saying that. So where's the where's the white lining?
The single most important thing is good sleep, low stress, good hydration, eat well, eat balanced, wear your food, avoid toxins. That's like first, right? Then you add supplementation on top of that to try to do. You can't just take supplements and think you're fine. You have to do all those other things first.
You have to do the test. I would say, do
these
your
tests.
biomarkers.
Exactly. Do your biomarkers.
See what you need and pulse throughout the year, different supplementations.
Yeah.
You do the liver cleanse if you need. Let's talk about this. Let's say if you do have fatty liver disease, you do the cleanse 3 months. But let's say if a healthy person just wants to do cleanup, like I do every 6 months a cleanup, how long will be the cleanup or detox?
Well, so de-liver-ance per se, most people stay on it for years.
Okay.
And I built, if I was really commercially minded or greedy, I would have created one for the brain, one for the liver, and one for your immune system. This is a bunch of products combined into one. So this is, and if you notice it when you take it, there's a neurotropic in it. So you get mental clarity right away, the last minutes, with a couple of minutes in the last 6 hours. We're optimizing liver function, but we've got turmeric in there, and we've got massive antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. So I tried to combine it into one super product as a foundation. So then you just add around it as opposed to trying to separate all these things. And we did it in a liquid because it's also important. You lose a lot of bioenergy and magic when you put it into powder or you pasteurize something or you heat it. It's like when you microwave food, you kill most of the nutrients. When you heat or put a natural like elixir extract into powder, you've killed a lot of its goodness. So a lot of supplements, you're not getting that much out of it as well. So I think liquid's always really important.
I love liquid supplements, liposomal,
Yeah.
because there's so much in the capsules that I'm not sure how much capsules can the liver process. Can you tell me about that?
Because there's a lot of fillers in them as well. And I was having a lovely chat with a colleague of mine, Natalia, and we were talking about magnesium stearate. So there'll be magnesium stearate in supplements, but if it's not as an active ingredient on a lot of it, it's probably not marked on the container. But if you're taking 10 of this pill and 5 of this one and this, they'll all have it. So you could actually end up getting toxicity from a filler because they're not meant to be taking 20 different supplements. So you could actually be getting fillers and excessive magnesium stearate because of the amount of supplements. That's also part of the risk, which could lead to potentially liver damage or at the very least liver stress.
So what people need to look into when they're actually buying a supplement like yours or someone else's?
I think for the science, how much science do they have? I mean, I have great respect and try to collaborate with other brands that are big in the science. Stem Regen's one, right?
Yeah, we love Stem Regen.
Christian's a fantastic friend and a colleague, and they've a lot of science, and he's a world-class expert. Quali is another great brand. I look at, when I take a supplement, I look at what's in it, what fillers are in there, other peers that use it, and then how much science is behind it as well.
And maybe third-party tested?
And third-party tested is always fantastic.
Because it's also like some companies they're hiding. Like you said, they might not even put it on the label.
Yeah. There's another liver product. We were at IHS, which is Integrative Health Symposium in New York, and another liver product. I know a lot about the science, and they were fibbing because on their website they say, we measured CAP score. I was, okay. CAP score is exclusive term that's only used for FibroScan. And I asked the CEO and the CEO, I said, okay, well, do you guys want to get a FibroScan? Because they were at the booth talking to us. And that was big Philippe. And they said, well, what's a FibroScan? I said, well, that's how we measure liver fat. And it gives you a CAP score. And I'm like, you don't know what a CAP score is? I'm like, no. I'm like, well, you on your website, you're advertising that you've done studies and improved CAP scores. You should probably look into it. So it's nice to, now being positive, but it's like you guys look into it before you make some false claims. I think also like AG1's got a lot of bad press recently, unfortunately, because there is an excessive amount of vegetables that you can take or you're not meant to take. Like nobody's supposed to eat 60 pounds of vegetables. No. And it's interesting because Asprey was one of the first people to bring it up. And
there's a lot of
Brian Johnson brought it up.
A lot of people actually taking it. I actually never went around and had taking that product because I'm very intuitive.
Yeah.
As we know,
females,
we are very intuitive. So the way I do things, I listen to my gut.
Yeah.
And I energetically, do I need this? Can I take it? And even through my daily routine, I don't take everything like, crazy.
Yeah.
I rotate through the week. I'm like, oh, this, that. And sometimes I buy the bottle and I'll just sit there for months because the energy is not going there.
Yeah.
The mind might think like, oh, it's interesting. It's the sounds so good. So like I need it. But when I get it, I would not touch it. The energy wise, it's interesting.
Yeah. And that's your subconscious. And your spirit, intuition is incredible, and instinct is, because sometimes your ego over rationalizes or tells you what to do, and you're justifying it. But really, should the very first split second thought you have on something, that's your instinct. That's usually instinct. Right. And
that's
then
right.
All of us, including me, your ego comes in and you start to overpower it and justify it, and next thing you know, you've forgotten what you've done it. And I'm a huge believer in women's intuition. Women, I think, on a spiritual level are more energetic and they're obviously better nurturers, I think, just because of how they communicate with children and,
We're like in touch more with our spirit, where the guys are more, like you said, they're more brain, kind of a thinking, how can I resolve this? And we are more like, hey, listen, how can it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this for me, always like that. I had to learn. And the older I got, and then I was like, boom, that's it. Like you said, the first thought, the first instinct, I'm going with it.
Yeah. Before your brain starts to overwhelm you as well. There's old Cherokee saying, and I won't be able to quote it exactly, but essentially a woman's greatest task is to lead a man to source and to God and to guide him there. And a man's greatest job is to protect a woman so that she can do that and be protected in the world to get that, and that takes care of the family. So man's job is, and I'm a very firm believer in that, to protect, but women will do that. And I had an amazing chat the other day, actually with Dave Asprey, and we were talking about mitochondria. And our mitochondria are, the fuel for our cells energetically that moves things. And they'll let you, there's actually a delay between your mitochondria will react to something, which could be part of your instinct, before your brain even registers of it. And one of the reasons that he put forward, which I completely resonated with me, is why women's intuition is so much better than men's, is women have twice as much mitochondria as men do. And the reason is, and it's funny, we're here with your hand, and that's because most of the women's mitochondria is in the womb, because a woman's mitochondria is throughout the day looking at billions and billions of cells and eggs and always trying to pick out the best eggs for procreation and creation. So women have twice as much mitochondria. So, and those mitochondria are going to react better. So that's the first time I ever heard it scientifically explain why women's intuition is so much better than men. And that's energy. Mitochondria is energy.
Yep. That's true. Do you know that each child inherits mitochondria from his mom, not from his dad, fully from his mom?
I did not know that.
Yep.
Cool.
So it's interesting, right?
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about now kids' liver. Do we see any problems in kids these days, liver? Because a lot of kids now do eat processed food, fast food. Do you think they could be also benefiting from taking de-liver-ance, or it's too early for them? And what parents should do and look if the kid is having an issue, and what kind of effects would they need to look? Maybe like brain fog, maybe they're too not doing great at school, or what kind of what would you look for looking into kids' liver health?
I'm glad you brought that up because over the last 3 weeks, this has been something I hadn't really looked into, and I've really kind of been pushed into it, and I'm really like diving in deep. We were very lucky. We had just come off of this show in Dallas, and I got invited to a fireside chat with like 30 people, and it was Dr. Phil. Right? It was amazing. And Del Bigtree, the CEO of Maha. And there was just 30 of us. They're having a really interesting chat. And one of the big initiatives they're pushing is because type 2 diabetes is running rampant with young children, and you're running all these conditions, is trying to go into the schools and make sure that the schools are giving children real meat, whether it's chicken or fish or beef or what have you, real vegetables, get the processed foods out of the schools, get the high fructose corn syrup out of the schools, get all that junk out of the schools. And just a bureaucratic tape to go through is so challenging. But if you think about it, it's actually amazing because you could then support local farmers to provide locally sourced vegetables and fruits and vegetables and meats to the children. Because in the United States, we spend 14 times what other countries spend on children. 50% of the children in the United States today have a chronic illness. That is just, it's horrific.
Yeah.
And that's being exacerbated by the poison we're giving our children in these processed foods and in the food dyes and in all the junk that they're getting in high fructose corn syrup. And it was interesting in this argument, I said, well, it's going to be hard to do that because whether it's Republican or Democrat, people aren't going to want more taxes to pay more money for healthier food for the children. I think most people would. So that's one side of the argument. And Dr. Phil brought up a very good point. He says that'll be a temporary blip because the amount of money that will be saved off of less sick children, less mental conditions, ADD, ADHD, hyperactivity, depression, a lot of that's actually could be because of nutrition and food.
Yeah, for sure.
That will the savings will more than pay for it as well. So we were discussing, I was at Maha Ball with Del, and I said, we really want to help. And I was looking at more of this. We wanted to go in impoverished areas and do scanning. He says, what about coming into the school? I said, okay. So we go to one of these schools and we transform their food program. We were chatting. I said, well, I could come in. My team will come in, the doctor, and we'll scan. Because remember, the scan's non-invasive. You can do it in children.
It's 10 minutes, yeah.
We could scan the kids, put them onto this diet, and then we'll come back in and scan them. And we're going to show the parents, without having to give them a shot or a blood test, here's the fatty liver or the liver of your children. And the more I looked into it, the new data, now this data is 5 years old, so it's going to be worse now. But 10% of children between 2 and 17 years old have fatty liver disease today.
It's incredible.
Between 12 and 17 is 17%.
Wow. So
17% of the children of teenagers have fatty liver disease, which means a third of them will get NASH, which is non-alcoholic steatosis hepatitis, and will go down the route of prediabetes. It exacerbates obesity. So it's actually, I had no idea it was that mind-blowing. I know we're also seeing data now in India to where babies are being born with fatty liver, which is unheard of.
Mom is
cheap calories.
Feeding, yeah.
Yeah, she's getting cheap calories. Those cheap calories aren't getting processed, and then they're ending up in the baby, and the baby's getting a fatty liver. And then you can even make that worse because now with certain formulas that they're giving.
The formulas is insane.
They have like sugar in them or high fructose corn syrup.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's the biggest concern now for me is actually children for fatty liver disease and liver disease. Yeah.
And let's talk about today. When you got here, you were like the big news in Maha.
Yep.
Can we talk about what's the big news today?
So the big news today was that there was an announcement that, love him or hate him, regardless, Trump made an announcement today, which is game-changing for the country and I think monumental. And he was with Dr. Oz, who's amazing, right? And with Bobby Kennedy, who's incredible, who's like all Democrat. I love Bobby Kennedy and what he's doing. And his Maha is about saving children's health. It's not about left-wing or right-wing or Republican or Democrat. It's about the future and the children's health of this country. And what they announced today is that the enormous and egregious amount of profiteering that's happening with pharmaceuticals with the country has come to an end. They've put all the drug companies on notice for hundreds of billions of dollars that you will no longer profiteer from the public. America makes 70% of the drugs globally. We're only 4% of the population, but 70% of the profits made here.
Wow.
So we've been subsidizing
because the
everywhere else.
the upsell, it's crazy.
The drugs, yeah. Like
let's
drugs,
talk about
like
Ozempic in UK. It's how much is in UK?
$88 a month.
And how much is here?
$1,300.
It's insane.
Yeah,
the
it's
same
like 90%.
Same for everything else.
Yeah.
Like we know that in Eastern Europe or in Europe, it's way cheaper, like 90% cheaper than here.
Yeah, that are causing a lot of damage and leading to a lot of liver disease and all these things, but they're dramatically profiteering and fleecing the public. The largest source of bankruptcy in the United States for people is medical costs. So more people are having to close their businesses, lose their houses, go bankrupt because of drug costs and hospital costs.
That's insane.
So this could shift so many things.
Wow.
And if you think about it, less people will be profit. If there's less profit, maybe the drug companies won't prey on the public as much while they're trying to milk every single dollar. You know, $1,300 for somebody that's, you think of it, somebody's on Ozempic or Wegovy or GLP-1, regardless, they're generally taking it because they're obese or type 2 diabetic, and that's a serious risk of mortality.
Yeah.
And so you're going to then basically profiteer from somebody that's trying to save their health.
Yeah.
It's evil.
I'll tell you this quick story. My nanny to my daughter, she is Spanish. She's 25 and probably 200 pounds, 5'4". And she goes to her doctor and she goes, can I have, and she's pre-diabetic.
Yep.
Asks her for Ozempic because she knows that she can benefit. She wants to lose weight. Her doctor says, no, go exercise. This girl exercises every day. She's trying to eat well, but she cannot lose weight. So I gave her trizapidite in the past 6 months as a gift. She lost 30 pounds. She is so happy. She has more energy, glowing skin. It's just incredible.
No.
Like, hello.
That's fantastic. You've done that. We need to, we should get her in for a scan because if 90% of people that are obese will have fatty liver, 70% of pre-diabetic and diabetics will. You've obviously, now that it's coming down, I'd love to sponsor her liver too. So maybe we can get her for a scan on me.
She's in Palm Springs.
And then we can probably accelerate that even more so. We can combine, because it's everything, right? It's positive attitude, it's exercise, it's what you're eating, what you're drinking. And
like you said, she was actually complaining to me. She knows that I'm in the business and I'm giving her a lot of advice. And I love how these two girls and there's another girl who helps in my house all the time. And they're listening to me little by little and they're taking these approaches. And one of them, she said, I have brain fog, Natalia. What can I take for my, I can't lately remember things at 25. So when we started on trizapidite, then I suggested her taking some supplements from Qualia for brain. Now she's on top of it. She's running. She's beautiful. She's so happy. So yeah, just small changes like that.
Yeah, small changes make all the difference.
But these girls can afford $1,300 a month. They're working, making $20 an hour, you know? And when they ask their doctors, if you were pre-diabetic, insurance can cover Ozempic. I'm not a big fan of Ozempic. I like trizapidite in a peptide form. But when she was asking for help, they did not want to give it to her.
Yeah.
Isn't it sad?
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, but the good news is all these great changes are being made.
I know, it's so amazing. We were so excited about this change.
Yeah.
Let's go back to alcohol.
Yeah.
Because that's a big one.
Yeah.
What's your view on alcohol and liver?
So alcohol does cause liver damage. A lot of things cause liver damage.
How much alcohol?
I think it if you're male or female makes a difference. Your weight, your age. One of the things that you never do is never mix HRT and alcohol together. That's a very, very dangerous thing.
What is HRT?
Hormone replacement therapy. So the highest risk for breast cancer for a woman post-menopause that's on hormone replacement therapy, drinks 2 drinks a day, her breast cancer risk goes up by 300%. If she drinks 3 drinks a day, it goes up by 500%. And the reason is because when you're going through post-menopause, your liver's not functioning as well because you're going through this huge change. And hormone therapy is then afflicting the liver. And then alcohol, so your liver's ability to get rid of the alcohol. So it's remember I told you sometimes it's compounding as well. For instance, stress causes a lot of damage as well. whilst alcohol does cause liver damage, you also want to have a nice, as a Dalai Lama says, we're having a human experience. So sometimes the stress of not having a glass of wine or dealing with a lot of stress and not dealing with it can cause more damage as well. So I personally, I enjoy a nice glass of wine. I have a big glass of water afterwards with it.
Yep.
Maybe 2 glasses of wine. I don't drink too much. What you're drinking matters. So if you're going to have, let's say, if you want to have spirits, have like a 5 times distilled vodka versus a 2 times, much cleaner, less toxins. Mix it with soda water.
Yeah.
And some lemon and lime, so you're not mixing it. But when you have like a cheap alcohol with like Red Bull, with sugar and like all those things, you just created like a toxic bomb.
Right.
So if you're going to have a drink, just drink, intelligently.
Like maybe once a week,
Yeah.
maybe occasionally twice a month. I just did do twice a month.
I drink a couple days a week. I'll have a couple glasses of wine because I enjoy wine.
Yeah.
And it's, it can, maybe get rid of social awkwardness. It can make you chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, feeling good.
And maybe take deliverance afterwards.
Of course, take deliverance afterwards. Yeah, I mean, feeling good and being happy is incredibly good for your health. So let's talk about things that are good for your health, right? Loving yourself, positive attitude, nice music, singing, going fresh air, being positive, optimistic, great friends, reading a good book, doing things that you love. These are things that are good for you.
Right.
And if going with your friends and having a couple of glass of wines or having a champagne with brunch with the ladies or on a Sunday,
it's okay, no problem.
the positivity that's going to come from that are far going to outweigh the negatives from that. We can't run around being afraid of everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's just do it in moderation, do it intelligently. Deliverance afterwards, because the deliverance mitigates the damage and it'll also sober you up a lot too.
Yeah.
So, give an example, like Peninsula Hotel, right? Fantastic 5-star hotel.
Here in Beverly Hills.
They have Deliverance in the spa as a spa product because when you take Deliverance and your liver's healthier, your skin and your hair's better.
Let's talk about that.
Clarity.
How is important liver for glowing skin and hair? I always get asked, what do you do for your skin? I'm like, hello, all my life I've been cleaning my liver, making sure I'm on top of it. Liver has been always important for me. Even though when I started my first YouTube channel, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years ago, my first video was about liver detox.
Really? That's amazing. Oh.
So liver has always been part of my...
You were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, liver has always been part of my kind of routine. And I guess because of that, my skin stays young
Absolutely.
and beautiful. So let's talk about that, because a lot of ladies probably would love to, and men would love to hear.
Yeah, I think that's probably why a lot of people stay on Deliverance so long. Men more for the cholesterol, women I think for the skin and the hair. Because if your liver's functioning really well, and with Deliverance we're also increasing oxygen in the blood flow, antioxidants, free radicals, right? So a lot of things that causes liver damage can be lack of oxygen, it can be collagen production, it can also be toxins and radicals. Most of the skin we don't see because it's underneath, right? All the layers. Most like psoriasis and certain skin conditions are mostly under the skin and they manifest on the outside. That's why hormones and stuff like that. So if your liver's healthier, your skin will be healthier, more oxygen to the blood, more collagen production, more elasticity.
Yep.
Lack of elasticity is why you get wrinkles, and hair as well. Right? People with poor diets or high toxicity or heavy drug users usually have crap skin and their hair isn't very good or falling out. Hence, and we do a lot as a charity-wise with people undergoing chemo. When you're undergoing chemo, toxicity gets so high, your hair falls out. So keeping toxicity low, and the key to that is what you're bringing in, but what you're doing to the liver will affect your skin, and you'll get that nice glow and balance as well. Our third biggest resellers of Deliverance are actually estheticians.
Oh,
and we got some very famous, UK's top makeup artist. She's on my board because she's a
Charlotta?
Oh, no, that's so Mary Greenwell.
Oh, Mary Greenwell.
And Mary Greenwell actually was the mentor to Charlotte Tilbury.
Ah, okay.
And Mary Greenwell was Princess Di's makeup artist. She travels all over the world, Kate Blanchett. She's at all the big shows she does, and she takes Deliverance as part of her beauty routine to keep her skin really healthy. And there are people like Gemma Kidd and Charlotte Tilbury, and they take the Deliverance to keep their skin really healthy because like I said, it's part of their foundation for that as well. And skin from within.
It's true. Skin. I always say skin is from within. You can put a lot of topicals, which is too important, but it all comes from your gut, your liver, and everything else. And let me ask you this question: let's talk about glutathione, because I heard glutathione is the master accident and one of the most important also for liver detox.
Yeah.
So how different is glutathione from your product?
So glutathione is this master antioxidant, and we produce it naturally, and you can also take it with supplements. Some supplements, I used to look for the mentality if you add a lot of supplements. I'm now a much bigger fan of producing more of it. Like we can take collagen supplements, right? Okay. And just because we take a collagen supplement doesn't mean you're gonna have more collagen in your skin. The best thing to do for collagen is to produce more of it and to do herbs and things that will activate more of it. And I don't add glutathione in de-liver-ance as an add-on ingredient, but what we do is we promote the liver's ability to produce more glutathione. And part of this, the nanotechnology we use in cellular technology is we keep the glutathione more readily available, so it's going around the blood very much more. Because it stays available. Because like a lot of supplements, you might just pee them out if you're not really absorbing them. So glutathione is very, very key. I don't take a glutathione supplement because this produces a lot. But when I do an IV, which would be about once a month, or if I'm traveling or if I think I'm getting a cold, I'll do a glutathione push in an IV bag and get a boosted glutathione, because that's just the bioavailability via intravenous is so much better. It's like NAD.
Yeah, I love Oral Wellness. Do you know Dr. Patel Nayan?
Yeah, I know of him, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Oral Wellness. It's a spray.
Yeah.
And he said that it's bioavailable and it stays in the bloodstream because they've tested out for 6 hours.
Okay, great.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking yours. I'm spraying glutathione and I'm like glowing.
Glutathione, it is the master, yeah. It's incredible.
Beautiful, yeah. So one of the ingredients in your product is rizalutam.
Oh, that's the name that I came up with for the formula.
Oh, okay.
And so we practice, and a lot of doctors practice, and I think you practice, is root cause medicine or preventative medicine, or functional medicine is root cause medicine with technology. And root cause medicine is getting to the root cause of something and repairing it so that you're not downstream. It's like type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome. I feel if you clean up the liver first, you don't have those later.
You don't have those later.
And because in de-liver-ance, most of the ingredients are the best molecules that we use are in the roots. Is rizalutam is a combination of the Latin word riza for roots and ancient Greek for healing. So rizalutam means roots to healing.
Okay, I thought it was some kind of a herb.
No, we created the name.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's interesting. And where the name is de-liver-ance came from?
So de-liver-ance, it's very apropos because it means, like, it's used a lot in scripture, it's used in churches, or it's used to take somebody from a place of bad to good, like deliverance from evil, deliverance from bad health. So it's apropos because I took negative experiences to me and I have used that to now create positive health, right? Something that killed people I love, I now use to prevent people from getting ill. And that was actually invented, the name came up with this marketing genius who helped us in the early days, was a big guy with Red Bull. He actually changed Veuve Clicquot's entire marketing program. The Veuve Clicquot that we know today with all the yellow, he did all that for the psychology. And he actually came up with that name because it's to take you from bad health to good health. And it has the word liver in the middle of it. So yeah.
Because you're splitting it. You like have D,
liver,
liver, and ance.
Yep.
Ance.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
So can you share your favorite testimonial from users who saw incredible results in short period of time?
So I'll give you, one we got was from a big esthetician in London. And she said that in all the things she does, and she does 1,000-pound facials and all this, is that de-liver-ance is one of the best things she's ever seen for skincare. So she puts all of her patients on it or clients, and it actually improves the skin. So it makes all her other work look so much better. But the best single one, which actually gave me a tear, and I'll let you hear after the show, was we had a call from a doctor in Germany at the University of Cologne. And she said we had this 11-year-old little boy that was on the liver transplant list, and he was waiting to get a liver transplant. And in liver transplant lists, about half the people don't make it because they're waiting too long. And she said, I wanted you to know we've put him on to de-liver-ance for 60 days. We changed his food, nutrition. We've been dancing, singing, all this positive reinforcement. And as of today, we've aborted the liver transplant. He did not need a liver transplant anymore. And that little boy has been on deliverance for 2 years. It was 2 years since then. Liver's perfect.
That's incredible.
And we didn't know, because that was so beautiful, because I didn't know that this little boy was even existed. And I didn't know that he was taking deliverance. And to be told by this doctor that was one of the key components to prevent his liver transplant. So that was,
Congratulations.
I think that's probably the most beautiful one.
That's most
because it wasn't
beautiful.
expected. It wasn't known. It was, I remember I was actually, I was in my car and I got the voice message. Yeah. Yeah. Professor Amida, she's a triple PhD, brilliant doctor. She's an oncologist, Chinese medicine, and Ayurvedic.
Right.
Triple PhD.
Amazing. Let's talk about really quick Coca-Cola. How damaging is Coca-Cola to liver, or any sodas?
So it's high fructose corn syrup is really the huge driver there. And if you talk to most hepatologists or guys that do liver transplants, you didn't see a lot of liver transplants until the early 80s. And I was talking to one of them. He said, we used to do liver transplants. Fatty liver wasn't really a thing. And we started really seeing in the early 80s. And he said, well, that's interesting, because it was the late 70s when they started putting high fructose corn syrup into the food. So Coca-Cola originally had sugar, and Pepsi had sugar, and cereal, and we used sugar. But when high fructose corn syrup came out, and because the U.S. produces so much corn, you got this incredibly inexpensive, subsidized sugar alternative that the body doesn't know what to do with. So the timing is, you can just see it right there. It gets introduced in the late 70s, early 80s. You have this explosion of fatty liver. It's accelerating. And high fructose corn syrup is in everything. It's in bread. It's in the kids' cereal. It's in Coca-Cola. It's in Pepsi. It's in tonic water. So that is one of the huge drivers of the fatty liver epidemic, is it's high fructose corn syrup that the body does not know how to deal with. So Coca-Cola from that aspect. If I tell somebody, if you really, really want to have a Coke, go get a Mexican Coke, the glass bottles.
Yeah.
Because they're still made with sugar.
Interesting.
And the
Those are
Coca-Colas in
actually
Europe,
the best tasting.
because they're made with real sugar, which was the original formula for Coca-Cola.
And what about diet Coca-Cola? It's all the same.
No,
it's
even
even
worse,
probably worse.
even worse.
Oh, wow.
We see way worse fatty liver disease in people that drink diet soda than drink regular Coke. So, right, sugar's obviously bad, right? Even worse is high fructose corn syrup. But even worse is all these chemicals pretending to be sugar. Those, because your liver doesn't know what to deal with it, you'll get fatty liver we're seeing and more liver damage from a diet soda than you would from a high fructose corn syrup. So, but obviously all three aren't bad.
Yeah.
But the levels of severity go worse with the diet soda.
Interesting. If you could eliminate one common food from everyone's diet to protect their liver, what would it be?
High fructose corn syrup.
Okay. What's your take on detox teas and all these Instagram cleanses?
I think detoxification, if it's done properly, can be very useful. You have to be very careful when you do detoxification to get a lot of calories in, because it's caloric intensive, and you can actually cause damage if you're not getting the amount of nutrients and food while you're doing it.
What's a common misconception about liver detoxes?
Most people think that you need to go through a liver detoxification, which is not necessarily true, because the liver detoxifies on its own. The greatest detoxification in the world is your liver's natural ability to detoxify. So the best way is to help your liver do what it does best, rather than trying to force it or trick it into doing something else.
Like liver flashes.
Like a liver flushes. And a lot of liver flushes, a lot of those times, those stones, sometimes they work, but a lot of those stones are actually just the oil that have gobbled up into little beads.
Wow, I had no idea. I used to see those a lot when I
with
did
the little
those
pellets?
flashes. Yeah.
In fact, we've probably seen too much.
Some
of those posts. Yeah.
How do seed oils and processed foods specifically affect the liver over time?
So seed oils, they can, if they're heated, they can be carcinogenic to cause liver damage. Seed oils can also cause inflammation to the liver, which is very bad. And also there's many studies showing that seed oils can actually increase liver fat. So, and not all oils are the same. So if you do olive oil, do extra virgin, because it's got the properties that properly break it down. Regular olive oil, fattening. Extra virgin coconut oil, good for the liver. Regular coconut oil, not good for the liver.
Interesting.
So if you're going to do an oil, stay away from seed, and then go, if you're going to do grass-fed butter, if you do butter, Extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
Yeah, but seed oils of all kinds, a myriad of things. So remember,
Just avoid.
inflammation, liver damage, carcinogenic, cause liver fat.
And I know it stays in the liver for a long time.
It can,
It's
yeah.
the
It's very hard
hardest
to get out of.
Yeah, get out of, yeah.
In fact, I'm doing a big metabolic reset diet, and part of it is the first 2 weeks is to eliminate all the oils in your body.
Interesting. What does hydration have to do with liver performance?
So the healthier liver is, the better hydrated it is, the more hydration it is as well. Just to touch really quick on skin, the single best thing you can do in the world for good skin is to be properly hydrated.
Especially with electrolytes. We were drinking a water with electrolytes right now. Yeah. How does the stress impact liver health on the chemical level?
So excessive amount of stress can also affect your cortisol levels, which can be damaging to the liver. Also anger. The seat of anger is actually in your liver. So angry people will have more liver conditions, and worse liver conditions could be angrier people.
Interesting.
Depression comes from the gut. Grief is held in the lungs, but anger and stress is from the liver.
What's a simple lifestyle change that can significantly boost liver health?
Hydration and avoiding processed foods, excess pharmaceuticals. Those are
Perfect. Can intermittent fasting impact liver fat positively or negatively?
Initially, it can add more liver fat because your body can think you're starving, but once it gets used to it, you'll start to shed it.
Okay. How does the liver impact brain function and mental clarity?
So there's a direct correlation. There's many studies that are showing that a fatty liver affects cognitive function. So it's the liver-brain axis. Somebody with fatty liver will always be cognitively declined or not thinking as clearly or as fastly and have as fast memory recall. That's why I put a neurotropic in this, because most people with fatty liver are brain fog. So I'm trying to bust through that as well.
Interesting. What role does sleep play in detox and liver regeneration?
So when we sleep, the two biggest things that happen is your brain stores all the memories for the day. And the second is your liver does all of its repair, usually between about 1 to 3 a.m. So liver rebuilds, does most of its detoxification, and does all its regeneration whilst we sleep. So the most important time for liver health is actually while we're sleeping between 1 to 3.
Interesting.
If you're on a normal schedule.
Right. What can women do to better support their liver during menopause or hormonal shifts?
Hydration, avoiding toxins, avoiding alcohol as well. That's definitely not a good time, because you have to keep the liver in optimal state, because the liver is also shedding and balancing out your hormones as well. And an excess of hormones that have not been properly flushed can lead to other problems such as cancer risk and metastasization and stuff.
Why are men more likely to develop fatty liver, and what can they do to counter that?
So 2/3 of fatty liver disease are men, 1/3 are women. So men just tend to store more liver in the fat than women do.
What are the longevity biohacks you personally use?
So I'm a big fan of infrared, especially before sleep. Turning off all the blue lights, TVs. One of the biggest things that we all don't do properly is take your phone out of your room, turn it off, turn your Wi-Fi off. Nothing will interrupt your sleep more than having a cell phone in the area. That's like first and foremost, and most people don't overlook that. Yeah. So that is a biohack. Red light therapy. I think magnesium before bed is fantastic. NAD infusions, or NAD, is very good. And keeping a well-balanced, amino acids, proteins, fats as well.
Yeah, beautiful. You're locked in the cabin for 30 days with no supplements, no tools, no internet, just your body. How do you stay healthy?
I would say good sleep, movement, meditation, breathing exercises, trying to get sunshine, fresh air. Yeah, probably those ones, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. If someone wants to take the first step today toward improving their liver, where should they begin?
First and foremost is being conscious. It's immediate, it's instant, it's free. What am I eating? What am I taking? And what am I lying in? What lotions am I putting on my skin?
Oh, that's a big one.
That's one of the biggest sources of toxins, especially like in the nanoparticles and microplastics and micromists of titanium. Deodorants is a huge, because it goes right into the lymphatic system. So not just what you're eating and drinking, what are you breathing? Right? What are you putting on your skin?
What are you putting on your skin?
Is the phone by your head? Do you have a Bluetooth in your ear? Right? These are all things that are going to cause toxicity. Because there's toxicity, there's physical, there's also energetic, and there's spiritual. Are you around toxic people? Are you around positive people? Are you around dramatic people? Those are all, detoxification is not just physical.
That's right. If someone could take away 3 keys insight from this conversation, what would you want them to be?
Love your liver. Be aware of it. Be conscious of what we're eating, sleeping, doing, who we're interacting with as well. And to having a positive outlook on the future and knowing that you can transform your health immediately.
Beautiful. What's next for de-liver-ance and where they can find you?
So we can be found online. We're going into more and more hotels, more and more clinics, functional medicine. We've got a big show in London next week, Mind, Body, Spirit, which is nice because it combines that. 20,000 people. I'm giving a lecture there.
Wow.
Then we come back for Dave Asprey's Biohacking Conference.
I'll be there.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, my
Love that as well.
favorite.
Then we go to Europe for Hollow Life, which is Europe's biggest biohacking, which I'm a big fan of.
Where is that one at?
In
Estonia.
Yes, this year's in Estonia.
Yeah.
Last year was in Finland.
Yeah, we were in Finland together.
This is fantastic, yeah. And he brings a lot of spirituality into it as well.
Yeah, Timo is great.
Yeah, Timo's great.
And then he's doing one in Japan. Are you guys going to that one?
We're going to try to do that one as well.
I might be going to that one.
And I'm speaking, the first and biggest biohacking is in Australia this year that Wanderlust is putting on in October called Wellspring. And I've been
You
invited.
got to let me know.
Yeah,
I
I'll
have
get
to
you the
go there. I
dates.
haven't been to Australia yet.
Yeah,
that
I
would
haven't
be a
either.
perfect way to. And but what's next for de-liver-ance?
I've got a meeting on Thursday with UC Irvine. We're going to do another big clinical study to look at very much further proving the reduction of liver fat, but also preventing people from getting liver fat. But also I want to be able to prove something that I'm a big proponent of, is that fatty liver disease is driving cardiovascular disease more than anything. So I want to be able to tie this together with a study showing that more people will die of cardiovascular disease because of fatty liver than are dying of fatty liver. So if we can get to the root cause of it.
Wow.
And obviously continue to support MAHA. I'd love to get this initiative to get in there and to start bringing awareness to the parents and the children.
Schools.
And schools as well, yeah.
Beautiful.
And the communities that need us, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing this very important information. Liver health, I guess it ties into everything in our body. And more people need to know about liver. And please, get the product and watch your liver.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Siggi.
Yeah, cool.
Amazing.
Pleasure. Yeah,
That was
good. It was really good. Thank you very
awesome.
much. Yeah.
Siggi, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experience today. This has been such an eye-opening conversation about how powerful and underrated liver healthy really is. For everyone listening, if you want to learn more about Siggi's work, check out the Liver Clinic or explore de-liver-ance. We have everything linked in the description below. And if you're ready to try it for yourself, make sure to use promo code WELLNESS15 to get 15% off your order. Thanks again for being here. Take care of your liver, take care of yourself, and remember, wellness is life.